Welcome to Awakening Journey podcast. In a world full of questions, I think one question that really stands above every other thing is, can Jesus still be trusted? So today we are diving into a powerful conversation with Mark, a man whose faith has shaped his life in profound ways. Mark is passionate about living out his faith, navigating life challenges, and with grace, and also inspiring others to seek God's purpose. In this episode, we will explore his story, how faith has influenced his upbringing, shaped his marriage, guided him through challenges, and also helped him find purpose in serving others. From struggles to triumph, we uncover what it truly means to trust Jesus in every season of life. Stay tuned as we embark on this awakening journey, one story at a time. Thank you for joining me here today, Mark. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. My name's Mark. Hey, what's up? I'm glad to be here. This is also, my first podcast. Just very excited. Especially just like to share the wisdom and like the knowledge that I've gained just from my walk. The understanding. It's different. And it's like, there's so many trials. But it's like God is so good. Just walk me through all of it, and just continuing to walk me through all of it. It's so nice, especially like the more you know, the less you know, and just like that kind of thing, so it just keeps you excited, keep your adrenaline going, like, I gotta learn more, I gotta experience more, to just, know like the truth about everything,
That's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So I have a couple of questions that I'll basically ask, and then I know that faith is a very significant part of your life, and so let's just start from the beginning. Can you share with us how you first encountered Christianity and what it has played in shaping your life and your values?
It's interesting because it's like I definitely think me, being a Christian, especially growing up with my family and stuff, I didn't really understand it until like I was by myself, until I had to like, I feel like God was like forced through my like childhood and stuff like that. So I wasn't as interested. I was like, man, this lukewarm, I was just like still doing my own thing, going to church. They're like, oh yeah, I'm saved, I'm going to church. Like, nah, it was just all of that stuff, my family, they were also like that, they're just like, it's okay, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna do this and that, it's okay, you're still young. But, I didn't see it that way, and so that was until, I came to college, whenever I kind of encountered God for myself, whenever I went through so many trials and like tribulations. And also, to rewind that back, actually remember I was adopted, but, so, when I lived with my mom, she's single, pops was in prison and stuff like that. It was something, just like trying to do all the drug dealing stuff. It was wild. And so my mom, she finally said, you gotta move with your uncle and auntie because I don't think this is gonna work out here. I don't want y'all's life to, be here. It was bad, And so, moved from uncle and auntie when they adopted us. And then about like, it was like a month or two later, my mom had passed away during Thanksgiving. And so, yes. So this is like whenever we were at Uncle Auntie's, so whenever we went over to Chicago for Thanksgiving, she was gonna come down there to like surprise us and stuff, but she ended up getting like a bad crash. And so like, it was hard, and I was just so mad at God. I'm like, man, just why couldn't I stay with her, 'Cause I remember, going back and forth with my mom, like, no, I want to stay, with you. And she's like, no, you gotta go because I don't want you, I don't want you to live in this environment, So it just, man, I definitely, went through a lot of trials just in that mindset, just, man, I could have been there, could have done this, could have done that, So I just like, very depressed, it was definitely a season. And so, it was,
Oh, that's very interesting. Would you say that being in that depressing season, or was it that moment where you found the need to seek God?
man, the moment was like when we were on that college.
College.
So like whenever I came to college, I was just wild. You know, 'cause I didn't really get to do a lot of stuff. Whenever I was in high school and stuff like that. So you know, I couldn't go over see my friends or anything. Couldn't like sleep over places. You know, just very like closed off of like stuff that was going on. I wasn't aware. So whenever I came here freshman year, I was just wilding out. Like I was joining a fraternity, like I was drinking, I was just sleeping around, just all this crazy stuff. And it's like, it was just so crazy because like God, took all of that. Like, he was like, you know what? You just want to go this way? I'm gonna let you go this way, And then like I just went through so many trials, like just blacking out, just all this crazy stuff. And so that's when I was just like, man, like this is not getting me anywhere. I was thinking about suicide and stuff. It was just wild, GPA was dropping. So I was just like, I don't know what to do, And so like that's the biggest thing is when when you feel lost, it's like the closest you will get to the Lord, because we just feel that emptiness and like saying, God, I need you, because I cannot be on this earth, It was just like that type of feeling. And then, that's when I learned, the positive stuff started happening. I just started, blocking off a lot of stuff that I was doing, like all my habits, being addicted to pornography, like all of that stuff. It was wild. So I cut that off, reading my Bible more, just asking questions about them during that time, just thinking positive, like getting more sleep, just stuff like that, like just basic habits. I just washed away, And I feel like that was the biggest thing that changed my life in that process. It was kind of like maybe salt more for, for God. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So next question is that as a Black American, your relationship with God obviously would probably be influenced by like history, culture, and also personal experiences. So I'd love to hear about your faith, like the dynamics of like being in the Black community, and if that influenced how you chose the religion of Christianity.
I would definitely say, it was definitely because of just that memory. So like, just my family just pushing it on me. Even though I didn't accept it, it was still in my mind when I was alone, when I was the stretch, So I felt like just having that, thrown upon me was a good thing. Especially like my uncles. So like my uncle actually prophesied when I was younger. So I remember like I was probably like 16, and this is when I was still in like the lukewarm phase. Like I was just worshiping in my room, doing all of that stuff. And then like I think it was like around Thanksgiving, I was my uncle. We all got in this like little circle, talking about the day before. We all prayed, and then the Lord actually told him that I was praying in my room. Like this like a month later or something like that. And so that's whenever he told me, he came and like laid his hands on me, and he was like, the Lord's telling me that he sees you praying in your room. He sees you like putting in the work. He said, keep on doing it. That's what like also inspired me. I was like, man, like nobody even knew that but me. It was secret. It was just like just showing the power of God. And I was like, man. So that was like that little glimpse that I had.
Yeah. That's a very powerful thing. I think the fact that God reveals certain things to people who are close to us, and it makes us even realize the power of God in our lives. The environment He places us in, I think it's a very powerful thing. That's why we need to be very conscious about the environment we are constantly in, because it has a way of changing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so most people in our 20s face the pressure from the world, especially in their identity and faith, and especially being in the United States, how sometimes the idea of religion is often seen as something people don't want to talk about. I think one question I want to ask is that how do you navigate the pressure of modern society, like social media, relationships, and career, and how do you stay very true to your Christian values?
Man, that is a very good question. Man, it always just starts with so right, that small group that sticks with you. So whenever I was in the process of getting married to my wife, we're dating and stuff, that determined who our close friends were gonna be. Because being so young, And like, getting married, people are like, whoa, like y'all need, y'all about to just get divorced in like a week after y'all married, this and that. But there also is another side that's like, oh, y'all got this. Like, listen to the Lord and, just go with it. Like let's give you wisdom on how to do this, how to get through this. I've been like, some of my friends have been married for like 28 years. And so it's like, that wisdom was like, passed on just from his, like their experience, So like, that's why I just think about it, like, man, who is helping us in those like trials, like in those like decision making, like, or like when we make our own decision, or like who's the type to just be like, no, since you're not on our side, we're not going to help you, and stuff like that. So like that's how I kind of determine my friends. We're just like, all right, let's see who's really like, working with us, who's really like walking through this life with us, and who's also like, older, because a lot of people, they don't understand, like, older people, just because they're older, that don't mean, they know everything, but you can make some good friends, like, to 30, 40-year-olds, but yeah, it's just, it was all because of that, just who was, like, on our side during that time with us. It's, like, kind of determined our friendship, and then it just grew from there, just from maturing, and, like, kind of naturally separated, myself from, sin, just like with people going to the bar, doing our party, and I'm like, no, like I'm married, I'm committed, I'm going here, I'm going home, going home with my wife, just loving her there,
So on the topic of marriage, I know that most of us, for some people are a bit scared about entering into marriage. And also sometimes also about the age range. And I believe that you're married currently, and you're married at a very early age.
Yes.
What would you say about marriage, and then what pushed you to get married?
Man, what pushed me was just pleasing the Lord, pleasing the Lord, and just so curious about, that love, because it builds, and it's so strong, because a lot of people think that, oh, no, we gotta know each other for 5, 10 years, and then we can get married. No, that's not how it works. Like, it's just, the process is just as simple as, hey, let's get to know each other through this marriage, And on top of that, let's build, because love is commitment. So it's like, the more you're committed, the more love comes out of that, and just putting in the effort, taking that action to actually propose. It's like strong, like the Lord loves that. He's so pleased with marriages, and it's just like, he's helping us along the entire way, It's not like we're alone. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, especially when they're young, because like society now, it's like, man, like everything is just so toxic, It's like, people are like, well, I'm waiting until I'm like 30 years old to get married because, she probably not the one for me, she all these streets, or like he all these streets, it's just like, it's just so corrupt, because like, they're not thinking of like the right things. Like, okay, what if she has trauma or he has trauma? Or like, let's build, let's put it together and we're gonna fix it together, just like a whole, just a building blocks together.
Thank you so much for that. I think we have like 3 more questions and then I'll wrap it up. So the idea of faith and service often go hand to hand, right? So I'd like to hear about your involvement in church and how you actually bring this idea of service to the Christian community you find yourself currently.
I would definitely say, church, service in the church is like pretty much understanding that the church is us, It's not necessarily like the building, the organization, like we're already, the church ourselves, talking about God. Like it could be 3 people and that could be a church, Just realizing that's what it is. It's not about the numbers. It's about making that intimate connection with somebody to Yah. And so that's why, I learned, just like, something that has been very impactful is just realizing, man, like the more intimate it is, the more wisdom comes out of it, and the more like teachings and like, just wisdom. It's just, man, it's beautiful, I think a lot of people, they just like, go to the big mega churches because it's like 1,000 people there. They're like, oh, I can just, sit in the 10th row and not be bothered. I just gotta watch church and then leave and I'm good, you know? But it's like the small groups, you know, small churches are just like, man, like they target everybody individually, you know? And it's like you're able to grow from it, you know, and move like, you know, to the next level.
Thank you for sharing that as well. Would you say that there are some people, like people when you were growing up that were very instrumental in your growth? Let's say church leaders, let's say family. Would you say that if you were a bit isolated, you would have grown more, or being immersed in community? So balancing the like being in community and also being isolated, which one would you prefer?
Being in community, like, you know, meeting as much people as possible and practicing, you know, explaining, you know, your faith, like explaining who God is. Just, you know, just giving people, you know, just that knowledge. And it also builds up, you know, your character and how you present yourself towards people, you know? And it's what brings people in faster, is that you just, you know, going out to communities and stuff, just talking, that just helps. You realize like, man, you know, I'm so confident, you know, I'm so like, you know, just knowledgeable because of God, you know, you just gotta practice it. That's what's helped me, just practicing that way.
I think so basically I'm on social media, right? And I'm on Instagram as well. Sometimes I see the stories of people transitioning from a place of like the dark space into knowing Jesus, and then there's always this glow you see.
Yes.
To people who are in Christ. And so as this podcast is Awakening Journey, can Jesus still be trusted? How would you explain the glow that happens when people experience Christ?
Man, I would definitely feel like you just feel like that numbness, like that like relief, you know, of just like everything just washed away. Like you know, especially it's like a, you know, getting baptized is like a pre-baptism. You know, it's like you changing your way of thinking, repenting. And so that's what just like, that's what you feel, you know, you just feel that relief, that happiness, that like spark of dopamine, you know? You're just like, man, like I just learned something new. You know, like you just get like excited to just like teach and just learn. And it's like, you know, just wanted to learn more.
So how do we, so this is the last one question, how do we maintain a constant walk with Christ? Because when you receive Christ, most of us are very happy that we've been saved. But then gradually, how do we work out our salvation as the Bible says?
You know, the Bible says to be baptized, you know, in the name of God. And just understand that after you're baptized, that you are now in a covenant with the Lord. So that's like the, you know, groundbreaking. Well, first repenting, you know, just changing the way of thinking, then baptism, sorry. And then just after that, it's just like, you're now on just that, you know, sinless road. Even though, you know, it can potentially happen, it's covered by grace, you know? So that's the difference, you know, of being a sinner, which is sinning in the present and the future, and then being, like, you know, falling into sin, which is, you know, covered by the grace of the Lord. So it just, man, just realizing that's where it starts, you know? And that's where the foundation, like, the seeds grow.
So my last question is, what advice would you give to the Christian generation coming up? And what would you tell them to do? Something you've learned, something you've encountered with Christ, and would like to share with them?
I would definitely say just stay curious, you know, like dig deep into the Word, you know, because the Word is living, you know, it is a vibration. It is just so much to learn, so much creativity behind it as well, and you just learn more about the Lord and like who you're following, you know? Because a lot of people, they're like, you know, I follow God, and then like when people actually have questions about it, it's like, oh, I don't know, you know? So that's why it's just important to just dig deep and just learn, because it just, man, it pays off, and you'll be able to save so many people. Because I feel like, you know, right now, just like in this age, a lot of people are just stuck in like the feeling of being a Christian, you know? Being like, well, yeah, I mean, I go to church and stuff, but I'm just staying there, you know? Like, y'all don't want to be challenged, you know? So I definitely think, you know, that challenge is what's gonna, you know, pop it off, you know? And get, you know, a lot more people that don't know God into the kingdom. So I definitely think just, man, just read that word, you know, just keep on walking that walk.
Thank you so much, Mann, for this insightful podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining me and honoring my request. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone for watching. I hope that you're blessed by this message. Please like, subscribe, and share to other people. Bye.
Bye.